So the Golden Boys back in the league.
Yes.
Cheeky 2 goals to kickstart his return. Kind of always felt it was going to be the Ronaldo show this weekend.
Yeah.
But didn't quite expect that from his first performance back. I guess I'm going to start off with you, Matthew, looking at the Man United game. What was your thoughts on his performance?
It was always going to happen, really. It was always going to happen. No disrespect to Newcastle United. I think you were just like a means to an end. You're not in the best of places. You've only signed one player. It was always going to be you're back at Old Trafford. The shirts are selling like crazy. It's his day. The crowd go wild whenever he touches the ball. It's going to happen. Even if he scored just one goal, he got an assist, the people were going to go wild. And he does what he does best, where he steals for show. He absolutely steals for show. I mean, the guy is 36 and he's running like he's 17. And he's playing like he's 14. Like he's still got that same boyish love of the game and to win. And he's just like, I'm not going to stop until I want to stop. I'm going to keep on going. He performed pretty much how I thought he would on the day. I think he could have walked into any other club in world football. Let's be brutally honest. I know City were calling, but it was a fantastic performance by him again. It's almost like he's kind of never left, but he's come back mature. He's come back with more experience, more on his shoulders. He's a leader. His drive, his energy, his determination, his hunger has probably never been better up until now. So, as much as I don't think they're going to win the league, I think they'll be there. He's going to be a big, massive push, a massive, massive personality to have in the dressing room and for the club. So I'm still waiting to see play like a real stern defense, but that's what I think we're going to see the real. Like this was like a preview of what's potentially to come, and a better defense I think will probably bring the better out of him. So I'm excited to see where this is going.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was quite impressed by his second goal more than anything. Because the first goal is like, that's a typical
Right place,
Ronaldo.
right time.
He's been like that throughout his whole career, especially the last few years. He's kind of refined his penalty box game to be very, very efficient. I guess for you looking at it, Craig, I mean, Ronaldo back in the league, even he himself said he expected to get one. He was surprised to get two. I think for me, the fact that he had an expectation of scoring one goal says a lot about his character and his belief. What impact do you think he's going to have on Manchester United now going forward?
He's going to have a massive impact because the players around him are going to up their game. All the players in the team are going to look up to him because he's won so much and he's done so much in the game. So all the players are going to like always look for him to give him the ball to score. And with his presence on the pitch, the teams will want to double up to mark him, and that will make space for other players to get goals as well. So it's gonna be an interesting season for Man United. We'll see what they can do.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one where I think expectations have gone up a notch. Definitely, I think expectations were high anyway. Like when you look at the money they spent over the last few years, they'd wanted Sancho all of last season. Dortmund were very adamant. You had a deadline to pay the money, pay it. Man United thought they could haggle. Dortmund said no. And then they waited a year. They got him now. They got Varane, who's taken to the Premier League really well. You know, the 2 games he's played so far, of course, counting the midweek European game, and we'll touch on that briefly shortly. He did really well in that game. Like he's settled quite nicely, and you can see what he's going to bring to their team. The key thing now is, can Ole produce the tactical side to get the best out of these players? And that's probably where the biggest question mark is for them in terms of what they'll do this year. Is will Ole be able to give them that extra dimension? I guess for you, Matthew, looking at, you guys had a former player as a manager in Frank Lampard for a year and a half, and then obviously he was let go, and Thomas Tuchel came in and just revolutionised how you guys have been playing. Do you see many similarities in terms of the problems Lampard had in getting the best out of your team to what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is struggling with right now with Man United?
He's a little bit more experienced because of his brief time at Malmo, and I think he had a little spell at Cardiff as well in the Premier League. But I do see very similar problems. I've seen those problems, I think, from pretty much when he kind of started. There was a bit of a honeymoon period when he came in after Mourinho because I think they're in a bad place. Honeymoon period, and then I think the mistake they made was after I think he really had a really good game against PSG, and they gave him the job like towards, I think, after 2/3 of the season, then the problems kind of started. And I don't think they've really gotten better since. And they spent a lot of money on different players, different positions. They've kept certain players. You know, I know they lost Lukaku, but they gained others to say, I don't know, like a Cavani and a Maguire sense. And now it seems they've got Ronaldo, they've got Sancho, they've got Varane. I mean, something has got to start showing from all this money that they are spending. They clearly are showing the intention of getting back to where they think they deserve to be. That top half of the table, fighting for leagues, fighting for Champions Leagues, good cup runs. But I've said this for a very long time. They're not going to get that final push with him as a manager. He's just... Does anyone get excited playing or being managed or being coached by someone like Ollie? I'm sure he was super sub. He won a lot with United. But if it wasn't for that tapping against Bayern, is he getting the job? Back in 1999? Probably not. And it could just come down to experience. It happened to Lampard. And I was sad to see him go, but it wasn't working. So, and especially after the result on Tuesday, you could almost say that he's on borrowed time, but they're not. I'm still convinced they're not going to do the big stuff while he's there. They couldn't even beat Villarreal in the Europa League last year, and they were shooing. So, despite the players that he has, the proof is still in the pudding. He's the common denominator. I still don't think they're going to win big trophies while he's there. I really don't. So yeah, he's the similarities between him and Lampard, evident, absolutely evident.
And I guess that's a concerning thing because you know from a team perspective, you would definitely want to feel like you're moving forward. And I guess for them, the big thing is going to be about what they achieved this year, because I don't think they can go another season without any trophies. No. I don't even think a cup would be enough to justify the outlay, to justify the expectations for fans as well. So I guess over to you, Craig. I think just touching on, I guess, the game from a Newcastle perspective. So they lost it 4-1. I think they had some pretty bright spells. I mean, the goal they scored was a very good combination play, great counter attack, very good pass and move. Sam Maximan influential in that move. I think they had about 2 or 3 other moments like that where with a better pass they might have made this game a bit closer. How do you think they're going to fare this year? Or what do you take away from their performance in this game?
I think the performance was very good. I know the scoreline was 4-1 doesn't reflect that their performance, but I feel what they need to do is like keep confidence in the team. They didn't. They had a good game. Well, obviously they lost 4-1, but I thought they need to keep Maximan fit. He's their key player, and they need to keep Wilson fit. They need to keep their core players fit, and hopefully soon Willock will start scoring goals again for them. I feel the problem is at the moment that they pick up too many injuries, and like what Matthew said about Oli, like is this job too much for Steve Bruce? Because Newcastle is a big club, big history. They were close to winning the title back in the 90s, and I know a last couple of seasons they've been struggling with relegation fears here and there. But if anyone knows about Newcastle, then Newcastle is a big club. They've won a trophy in an awful long time, but they've always had great players like Shearer. They had some great players in the past, and I feel the problem with them now is that they need to invest in their squad. They got a good 11, but it's the backup players. Are they good enough to challenge the 11 in the squad? And I feel that if they get 1 or 2 injuries, they'll struggle.
Yeah, because Wilson wasn't available for this game.
No, he wasn't available.
So Maximan is clearly one of their best players. He's capable of changing games on his own. I love watching him play. He's one of the few players that you see that will take a ball, that will take a player on. That he just drives. He's just energetic. Yeah. But do they have more of that in their squad? So I agree with what you're saying about squad depth.
I think the other issue as well. How much more longer? Because they're the bottom of the table, aren't they? They only won 1 game. They're on 1 point. I think, if I'm correct. They only got 1,
maybe 2.
No,
they are 19th. Yeah,
they only got 1 point. They've lost 3 games.
They got 1 point.
And I think the biggest issue is now is like what's going to happen with them now, because if the board continue to, if they don't start picking up results anytime soon, they could be
But I guess the other issue is, of course, they tried to do the Qatari takeover, the Saudi Arabian takeover with the owners, and the Premier League haven't approved it for whatever reason. It's the fit and fair process thing, which is a bit. I mean, there's other clubs run by countries with similar questionable ethics and stuff, so it's a bit unfair, because I think Mike Ashley's made it clear for a long time that he doesn't have the funds to back them, and having said that, they have still bought players. They've invested it to an extent, but maybe it's not to the amount that they need to go to the next level.
I think if they want to get to the next level, they need heavy investment. Because that's the way it seems to be going now with all these the big clubs who are investing heavily. Again, these massive owners with massive loads of amount of money, and they're pumping X amount of money on players and all that to improve their squads. So I feel that it's a situation where I think it's going to be a relegation battle for them this season again. They're going to be struggling again. Only if they can pick up some wins in the next couple of games, the next couple of weeks, then maybe they can do okay. But I feel like they're going to struggle again this season, like last season.
Need to pick up some wins and quick, other teams around them, they're showing signs of progression. They might not be finishing in the top half of the table, but they're moving in the right ways. Like clubs like, look at Brighton, potentially Brentford. If they start getting some wins eventually, Leeds, Leicester. In comparison, there was a comparison, I think, back into the 2000s from when Newcastle were to where Leicester were, and you look over the last few years, Newcastle have been ducking and dodging relegation. Leicester have won a league. They're in Europe. They won the FA Cup last year and the Community Shield, beating Chelsea and Man City respectively. And Newcastle are only just averaging a mid to lower table finish.
But that goes to show, with lack of investment, if you invest in your team, that will help you elevate up the table. It's all about investment, having the right manager as well. The manager's the one that can take you to the next level. And I think the thing with Newcastle, when Benitez was the manager, he did quite well with them. Steve Bruce came in, and the fans didn't want him to be their manager. I don't know, for whatever reason, they didn't want him to be their manager. And I think the more the results are going bad, the more the fans are going to turn against him even more. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think they need a miracle.
Losing Benitez was
a big
mistake on their part, because you think, they finished 10th with the clubs I mentioned before, but not exactly spending millions upon millions on individual players, but they're improving the squad where it needs. I just, to this day, I just still don't know why you wouldn't give a Champions League winning manager a European competing manager in the top flight. You wouldn't give him just I don't know, a few little bits here and there, allow him to tweak the squad to take him to maybe the top half of the table. I'll never understand why they didn't do that.
And I wonder if that's because of the takeover stuff. Maybe they thought, okay, we'll wait for the new ownership to come in with the money, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. And talking of Benitez, of course, Everton played on Monday. Brilliant 3-1 win against Burnley. Another disgusting challenge in that game, which wasn't properly punished, but we'll come on to that in a bit. But you talk about Benitez and what he does with players and what he can do with a team, and what he could have brought extra to Newcastle with further backing. You've seen with Everton, he's brought in a couple of experienced players that he's managed before, Townsend, like Rondon, players who he knows what they can do. Yeah. And he's got Everton playing very, very... I mean, I was really impressed with how they played that game. It was fast, it was entertaining. What do you think that says about... Because I think one of the things I've heard this week is people talking about his understanding of the city of Liverpool and what the fans want, what the people want. And it feels like he's doing a similar thing to what Klopp did when he first came in at Liverpool, endearing himself to the fans, giving the fans what they want to see. Yeah. How do you see that playing out, and what do you think about his start so far as Everton manager?
If they can get the results, if they keep the players fit and, a good, decent cup run, maybe somewhere finishing, a decent finish in the table, I think the fans will be more than happy. Playing good football, I think, is almost the bare minimum. I think at the moment he's achieving that, even with players you just said, like Townsend, like Gray as well, and indeed Rondon, a good squad player. We're already on top of the exciting squad they already have. I mean, Everton have a good squad. They really, really do have a good squad, and should be looking to finish at least, in my opinion, 7th. And again, with another back-to-back experienced Champions League winning managers, it must be a good time on that side of Liverpool, on that side of Merseyside even. and they were really good on Monday. Went a goal down, but they came back. Townsend scores a fantastic goal. Decore, I think, is a seriously underrated Premier League midfielder from time at Watford to go to there. I don't know why a bigger club didn't even try and look at him, but his pass, his energy for, I think it was a Damari Gray goal, fantastic. Townsend scores another just absolute smash of a goal. He just seems to love doing them, has it in his locker. Who scored the other goal?
Michael Keane.
Michael Keane, yeah, that was a head. I mean, defensive nightmare for Burnley. Burnley known for their defence. Conceding a goal like that, Dyche would not have been happy. But it just shows that, under a previous regime, they might have down tools. But Rafa's got them do it. He's got them doing something exciting. Do it, for the fans. This could be his, Reds Mark II for all we know. And these are the kind of things that you want to work because football's good. And they haven't really broken the bank. If you think about it, they haven't really broken the bank because he kind of utilised the squad he's already had. And let's not forget, he's still got James Rodriguez at his disposal.
That's true.
He still has him. But no, Liverpool, very impressed with them. Very, very impressed.
And I guess for you, Craig, over to looking at Burnley, you said they're going to struggle. You think they're going to go down. You still... No, I mean, look, I think this is one of those games where, like Matthew said, crosses are something that they're normally very strong at defensively. And to concede a goal from a corner cross... It was a set-piece situation, but I don't know if it was from the corner or if it was a second phase. But either way, to see the header... It's not the best way to go about your game. And I guess for Burnley, they have a very settled squad. They don't really add too many players to it. They try and kind of keep going with marginal improvements year on year. Do you think this is the season when it's just going to be one step too far for them?
I feel so. I think the problem is that, just like Newcastle, they got a good 11, but their reserves, that's the problem. They need to invest heavily in the squad in the summer, and they never invested heavily in the squad. I think they bought one or two players in. I think it's a big problem. I know you've been in the Premier League for a while, but every season as a team, especially the team in the lower table of the league, it's always good to freshen up your squad, like bring in new players and freshen up, have new ideas and try something different. Because trying the same thing over and over again, players age. The older players get, wear and tear, everything. So I feel that they need to bring more younger players. And they've got some good players. Dwight McNeil's a good player. They got the goalkeeper's quite good, England international, Nick Pope. They got Tarkowski's quite good.
Ben Mee's good.
The striker was good, Ashley Barnes, and the other one, Chris Wood.
Wood, yeah.
They're quite good. So they have got a core of good players, but I thought when them players get injured and they have then the reserve players, just like Newcastle, they're not top quality as the replacement. So that's why I thought they'll struggle this season. I might be wrong.
They got Jay Rodriguez as well. He's half decent.
Yeah, he can score some really beautiful goals. He doesn't get a lot of goals, which is always a strange one.
And I got Vidra as well.
Matej Vidra.
And they brought back Aaron Lennon back in the team as well, back in the club. So I'm not saying that I just feel that they need more. If they want to stay in the Premier League, they need more players.
But they don't spend.
They don't spend money.
They don't spend.
And I think that someone tries to sign a new contract now. It's on a new 4-year deal, I think it is. So he'll be there until 2025.
They'll stick with him. He's been there since forever. They're going to stick with him no matter what.
But managers like him, I always feel like, my honest opinion, that they've done so well at Burnley. Why is another club not giving them another chance? Like other managers have been given chances over and over and over again. And managers like him never seem to get the credit that they deserve what they've done with a small team. No disrespect to Burnley, with a small club on a shoestring budget.
Yeah.
And they always seem to produce good results and stay in the Premier League. And they never get the opportunity to go to another club to see what they could do with more money and better quality players.
That's a fair point. I think that's a very good argument, because you do make a good point about why the opportunities don't come. Maybe it's a situation where other clubs, maybe they don't fancy them. Maybe other clubs have a specific thing in mind. But, talking of managers and getting opportunities and stuff, we're going to segue over to the game that kick-started the weekend of football. Game in South London. Crystal Palace against Tottenham. Honey Tots, Spurs. Patrick Vieira doing, continuing on his record as a player into management of never losing against them. Very interesting game. Very spicy game. Lots of drama. Lots of some handbags as well. I guess one of the things I'd say about Crystal Palace, and they've tried this before, bringing in like a young manager who has a footballing philosophy, different ideas, try and move the club forward. I don't know what their longer term ambitions are, but I know glancing at Europe is something that they've kind of hoped for. Maybe like a run in Europe might be something they might like. And when the first few games of the season, we were all a little bit concerned that maybe might be a bit too much for Vieira. Maybe this might have been a bit too soon.
Yeah.
But you look at this game, and he has really got them. I mean, they absolutely battered Spurs.
They did.
Like, it was only 3-0 on the scoreline, but I don't think Tottenham had any chance in this game.
Harry Kane didn't touch the ball.
They were just snuffed out. So for you, Matthew, looking at that as a game that kicked off the weekend, what's your take on Crystal Palace?
I thought this kind of thing kind of happened. I think the first game, Chelsea kind of feeling out the squad a little bit, seeing what he's got. But I think after that, they haven't won until this week. The weekend just gone. But never had they lost. I think they drew with Brentford.
Yeah.
They got a very good draw against West Ham at the West Ham Stadium, and it's almost as if he's finally got almost got a philosophy going with beating Spurs, who were top of the table at the time. And I think the youthful energy he has around that striker. Was it
Odsonne Edouard?
Odsonne Edouard from Celtic was he scored in his debut. Was a great acquisition. Zaha's still there. Conor Gallagher's still there. I mean, and they've still got players to come back. They lost quite a few players and got players to come back. But I mean, it goes back to what I was saying before when they're having a manager around that inspires you. It's Patrick Vieira, and like you just said, the guy has never lost against Spurs as a player or as a manager. So, and I just think that adds a little bit of spice to it from all the clashes you had back in the day, where he's like, he was up for this. He's, Premier League winner, FA Cup winner, World Cup winner, Euro winner, invincible. And that's your manager. I mean, even as a staunch Chelsea fan, if Patrick Vieira is giving a speech, I know I'm listening. And as a player, I definitely know I'm listening. So I didn't think Crystal Palace play a good is you. When was he Crystal Palace? Is youth, the young, the energy, the fire, and you saw that when things got very heated between Tanganga and Zaha. I think Tanganga forgot where he was for just a moment, what part of London that he was in, how it was going to throw down, and with that youthful energy, you get raw, you get no fear, step up, down south after all, and they're up for it, absolutely up for it. So yeah, Crystal Palace, very impressive, very, very impressive.
Yeah, it's definitely a game where it kind of highlights two interesting things. And a point I'll raise to you, Craig, is this: like, see, Harry Kane, we had the famous decision where he tried to force his way out of Tottenham Hotspurs, and they did not allow him to. They told him to get back. Bring that ass back here, boy. Get back to training. So looking at that situation, and of course looking at the game, do you think Tottenham made the mistake of not cashing in on him in the summer in a way where they could have used this money to then bring in additional players across different positions? Not as badly as the Bale deal, but maybe utilise it a bit wiser.
I think Tottenham made a massive, massive, massive mistake, because now how old is Harry Kane now? 28. Next season going to be 29. His value is going to drop. When he hits 30, his value is going to go down.
But it's not only that. Obviously, he's got his dodgy ankles as well.
Ankles, yeah.
What club is really going to spend a lot of money on a player? I think his record is a bit.
I thought they should take the money in the summer and just rebuild the whole squad, because they had Son. Son already signed a new contract, so they had Son, so they could just get a player to play alongside Son. I think they made a big mistake, and I feel this season, I don't know what's going to happen with them, but I thought this season is going to be an issue again, because he's not going to be happy. He wants Champions League. He wants to win the big trophies. I know disrespect to Tottenham. They're not going to win the big trophies at Tottenham.
They don't win any trophies.
They have won. How many years he's been there?
Long enough.
And what has he won since he's been there?
Nothing.
Nada.
There. Other teams have won more trophies than him. Leicester won more trophies than him.
But not only that, I think the other thing you got to think about is, like, it's going to be even tough because Kyle Walker moved on, won the league, won Champions League.
No, won a Premier League.
Sorry, won a
The
Premier
domestic
League.
hero,
Thanks
yeah.
for correction. They ain't won that yet. They haven't won it yet. But he's been there. He's been close.
Getting there.
Kane has the commiserations, a loser's medal as well.
Yeah.
But you now got Grealish who moved on. He's at Man City now. He, you know, looking at how well he's playing and fitting in, he's just carried his form over to from Villa to there, no problems. It must be getting tougher now for Kane week in, week out to sit back, especially this week. Grealish scored in a Champions League debut, nice little goal. Must be tough for him sitting at home watching this, thinking, "Ooh,
Could have been me.
could have been me."
Well, he need to force the issue. He need to put in a transfer request. I want to leave. Maybe he did, and maybe Tottenham blocked it, but maybe he needs to be more stronger willing and say, you know what, I've given everything to Tottenham. I tried everything. We tried to go to the Champions League final under Pochettino, didn't win it. We got to the League Cup final last season under Mourinho, didn't win it. And Tottenham have employed top managers. Mourinho's a top manager. Pochettino went to Tottenham, transformed Tottenham, and they still didn't win any trophies. So they've employed all the best. So it can't be the manager's problem. It's a psychological thing. They can't win trophies. Yeah. So if you can't win trophies there, I'm Harry Kane. I'm looking at it like I'm going to be 30 soon. My career is going to end in a couple of years' time. You don't want to be a player that's going to say, I'm a one-club man, but I didn't win any trophies. Because you're going to be judged on... Our top football players are always judged on what they won in their career. Even the average players, average Premier League players in the past have won trophies. And...
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And, yeah.
So on the topic of trophies, we'll switch over to the other side of South London, the team that plays in blue. Lukaku again, at the double. Comfortable 3-0 win at home against Aston Villa. You guys are, and of course you won in the Champions League midweek as well.
We did.
Slowly building something very interesting. Lukaku scored in both those games. He has come back as the man. Mm-hmm. He is the man. Now, did you back yourself to win the league this season?
I did.
So does that now make you feel like, okay, is that reassuring you that you're going to go the distance?
Oh, definitely. If he's scoring in literally every game that he's in, or, you know, or at least he's I mean, I know he didn't score against Liverpool, but if he's turning up and scoring those, it's always those goals against like certain teams that bring you up. Then absolutely. The Villa game, the 3-0, it was hard work. I thought it was. Villa did actually give us sometimes a bit of a scare, but the team is almost kind of gelling and almost complete to the fact that we can nullify their attack and go at the other end and score. And those kind of games, a bit like the Liverpool game, we had to dig in real hard, like 45 minutes. We had to weather the storm from a lot of their players. We've got a lot of players who are good in front of goal, like your Ollie Watkins, your Danny Ings, John McGinn. John McGinn actually had a half decent game. He was properly getting stuck in. Good little player he is. They have invested the money well, but they need to start showing a little bit more wins. But going back to us, it was just another very professional kind of championship aspiring performance where you're not necessarily performing 100%, but when you need to, you can go off and score a goal. And I know a lot of people talk about Lukaku being man of the match. I know a lot of people talk about Kovacic being man of the match. Kovacic was fantastic as well. Absolutely fantastic. He deserves more goals. He should get more goals for the rest of his work in the park along with Jorginho is absolutely inspired. My personal man of the match was Edouard Mendy. Edouard Mendy giving off some absolutely sensational saves at his near post, double shot stopper. He's a very good shot stopper, but just having that, his reassurance in that 6-yard box. I have not had that confidence probably since Czech in goal. Probably not had that confidence where I'm just reassuring that if he's in goal, it's all good. It is really all good. The only down that came was Saul's first game.
Yeah, he had a shocker.
He had a shocker. Aston Villa absolutely love playing around. They must have been like, let's get this guy right here. But it's his first, game, 45 minutes in England. It's very different to playing in La Liga. Providing he's got players around him who have been in similar situations where, just buck your ideas up. Hit gym, for one. Hit gym. Get tougher because you're going to be going to these grounds where they're not going to care.
No.
Where we go to Leeds, Burnley, all them places where they'll have you on the floor. They might not skill you up, but they'll knock you down. He's a good player. I think he'll be all right, but he needs to toughen up. But I think I'll be fine. But I was happy with the result. So Yeah, bring on the Spurs on Sunday. Bring them on.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys can inflict another defeat for them, that'll be great for all of us.
Is that a favour from us to you?
You know,
An eye for an eye.
whatever we can do to keep London any colour but white is great. But yeah, and of course, talking about like titles and big games, Liverpool, nice little 3-0 win against Leeds. Obviously, very horrific injury to
Harvey Elliott.
Liverpool, I think they look alright for the title. I think they're just continuing on what they did before.
Very, very good.
They can score goals for. Obviously, Mane looks out of sorts. Looks a bit. Now I can't tell if he's overdoing it, overthinking it, or if it's a genuine. Has he fallen off a cliff? I'm gonna give it down to it's just a fatigue from playing so many games the last few years, and he's just not quite at the sharpness level.
Yeah.
Because even the other day in the Champions League, I was just watching him, and he had a nice little break. He got the ball came to his left foot, and you're thinking, go on, have a hit, and he kind of stopped it, and shuffled it back towards his right foot, and then got crowded out and lost the ball. And I'm just thinking, okay, in the past you would have had no issue just pushing it and hitting it. So what's affecting your confidence? Why are you not playing the way people are used to? So it's an interesting time for him. I guess for you, Craig, looking at that game, looking at what Liverpool have got, where do you think they could potentially, I guess, struggle as the season goes on?
Goals.
You think so?
Centre forward. Because in January, Salah and Mane go to African Nations Cup. A lot of their players go to African Nations Cup. Keita, Salah, Mane. Who else have they got?
Matip?
No, Matip don't play for...
Doesn't play anymore,
No, he doesn't. He's retired.
I know he hasn't played it, but there's Canute.
He's French.
He's French, no, he
Yeah,
won't
so
go.
that's it. Yeah.
That's a big problem. And I think the players, like... I just saw we were watching the game yesterday against AC Milan. They struggled. Origi struggled up front. So when they came off at half. I think he came off in the second half. So I think they're starting. As I said before with Liverpool, their starting 11's quite good, and they've got a few good reserve players that are quite good, but they haven't got a backup striker. I know they've got Jota.
Well, I'd say centre forward. I think they'll be fine because Jota and Firmino, to me, Firmino is probably the one you think he needs to step it up. I think Jota will be more than comfortable to supply.
He's a very Klopp-like
to me,
player.
I'd want to get 15, 20 goals out of him this year. Not in the league, I think, overall. And in the league, over 10. But I think that's kind of numbers he should be aiming for. Maybe even more than that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's probably very on the lower end.
I think he did nearly that for Wolves, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was kind of he nearly hitting those numbers for Wolves just a little bit.
So depending on whether he starts or if he's a bench option, I think 15, 20 at a minimum for the season, I think is what he should be targeting with an aim to kind of do more than that. But yeah, I think it's more the wide support forward, like without Mane and Salah, with Walker and Oxlade-Chamberlain come in and step up and play well.
That's what I mean.
Obviously,
They're backup.
Yeah. So we'll see how they manage it. Maybe they've got a plan in January. They might make a cheeky bid for someone. Maybe they've got something worked out. You never know. I always look at Mbappe's situation in Paris and think, okay, I know you have Madrid on your heart, but to be honest, looking at it objectively, Liverpool's a better move.
True that.
Especially if you want to win the Champions League now,
I'll go Liverpool.
that's the move you make, and then you go to Madrid afterwards.
Yeah.
Because right now, to be honest with you, Real Madrid don't need him. Where's he gonna play? They got some good.
They'll fit him in.
But the biggest problem is that the players that they won Champions League, all them Champions League with, they're aging players now. They're not any younger anymore. They're getting very old. They're older players now. So it's like,
well, I mean, Madrid are refreshing it because Camavinga they bought, he's quite young.
Yeah, he's 19,
20.
yeah.
You've got people like Rodrigo, who's now got the goal the other day to win him the game in the Champions League in midweek. So he's quite young. He's like, I think around the same age.
Vinicius Junior as well.
Yeah. So yeah, they're refreshing it in the right way.
In the right way, but I think if he wants to win he's got a better chance of winning at Liverpool than Real Madrid right now. If he wants to win it now,
just a bit more energetic.
Yeah,
I think for
his development, I mean, he should go
and
to
also
Liverpool.
for his legacy, you do the Liverpool move makes more sense.
It does.
And then to go to Spain and then from there you can choose where you want to go.
Wherever you want to go.
I think that would be the better move. But then he's had his heart set on Madrid. We'll see. I just think Liverpool will be the smarter move, and I can imagine that, especially for Nike as well. His own personal boot sponsor and the shirt. I think there's something really special could happen there. So let's watch that.
He would look good in red as well.
Maybe really something might happen there. Maybe something might happen there. Gonna go over to the other title favourites, challengers, contenders, ones that will be up there. A little simple 1-0 win a hard-fought 1-0 win for Man City against Leicester. None of the Brazilian players were banned this weekend, so that prediction went out the window. Every single club, FIFA intervened, and every single club was able to pick their players. So, City, I think Leicester probably were preparing for that, and then that was probably a shock when they were like, "Oh, wait, they're all available." So I guess for you, looking at that between the two, obviously a 1-0 defeat for Leicester at home it's against Man City. That's actually not a bad result on the balance of things. Man City they didn't buy a striker. They still have Ferran Torres, obviously. They've got Gabriel Jesus. In midweek, they thumped Champions League opposition. So goals aren't going to be a problem on the whole. But do you still think the lack of a striker might be a deterrent for them?
It's going to bite. I think it could bite them at some point because, like I said before, as good as someone like Gabriel Jesus is, he's not going to put that kind of fear in like Sergio Aguero did. Because Sergio Aguero came in at the beginning when they were in their kind of resurgence to the powerhouse they are right now. And I think and Ferran Torres. How old is Ferran Torres? Is he young? Is he old?
He's young. I think he's only like 21.
He's 21, so he's got time to kind of establish himself. But what they really needed to kind of like sustain, probably most of the season was someone like an established, like a Harry Kane. Like Harry, I think he would have slotted in there beautifully, and I'm not saying he would have got a guaranteed Premier League trophy, but the challenge is going to be so much stronger. Plus, with someone like him, he'll literally have to stay nearer that goal, and he's hitting 30 a season, probably no problem. So many quick, wide players like your Sterlings, your Mahrez. You still got Bernardo Silva. Imagine someone like Kevin De Bruyne supplying you for goals to Harry. Kevin De Bruyne plus Harry Kane. I mean, I don't need to repeat myself on that one. Anyone on FIFA knows how well that's going to go. I think they could struggle because the other title contenders like your Chelsea's and Man United, probably even Liverpool, have got guys at the other end who could put away 20 plus easily. And Ronaldo going to United is going to be a real stick. The Manchester derby has just got a hell of a lot more interesting. So when the next Manchester derby comes up, I'm gonna be very watching. Probably be crap anyway, but knowing the luck, I felt sorry for Leicester because I think they didn't deserve to lose. I think they played their part massively. I just think it was it was one of them like a little cheeky smash and grab, like a pickpocket goal. But that's what title contenders do, I suppose. That's what title to contenders. That's what they do. Harder tests will come. I'm not saying they're going to get battered here, there, and everywhere, but a lack of a striker, I think, in the end, considering they're competing on 4 fronts, League, Champions League, and the 2 cups, I think the Champions League one will hurt. I think what he really wants, as much as I know he wants that league, he wants that Champions League. Pep does really, really wants that Champions League.
I can see them getting to the Final Four again.
Oh, yeah.
And then it would be down to him whether he does his usual tinkering or he just keeps it simple.
Oh,
and I hope now he decides to keep it simple and do that.
Because, what happened last time? not that it bothered me.
Can't keep tweaking. And we'll live and learn. I guess now going to talk about his protege, who is in charge at Arsenal, Mikel Arteta. Had a nice little, finally got off the board. Nice little 1-0 win. Well I was actually there.
Oh yes,
and it was very interesting. Like the first, I think 7 or 8 minutes, we came out the blocks fired up. I would get into my seat and I spun around and I was watching, and we were just like shut. Like we had them penned in to something I haven't seen from an Arsenal team in a very long time. And there was a lot of different things in the game. That some things I liked, some things that were still a concern. But I guess for you, Craig, how did you feel about the performance? 3 points. Okay.
3 points.
It was great.
I'll take the size. We'll take the 3 points.
I'll just take the 3 points and build on for the week and go again next week. In all fairness, we could have scored 6 or 7. Chance to be creative, we could have scored more. But one thing that really impressed me was the new back line, the back 5.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper, the new right back, Ben White and Gabriel and Tierney. And I think Maitland-Niles had a great game as well alongside. He had a good game.
He had
compared to what Jack did the week before.
It's interesting with Maitland-Niles. So like I don't think he had a terrible game, right? And I think it's really interesting when you judge it, because you can judge it on a lot of different things. Was his passing good at times? No. Because he played some very loose passes. Did he get caught on the ball at times? A few occasions. However, the thing that now on reflection, when I think back on the game, that really stands out for me, they didn't have one moment in the game where they ran through the middle of the park.
No.
All their transition movements came down the sides. And what that says to me is that the pace of the two of them, Lokonga and Maitland-Niles, was fast enough that they knew there was nowhere through the middle. So that is a massive positive. And I think if there's anything, it shows that maybe that's a position that he could make his own. He just needs to get more focused on the ball. I agree about how we could have scored a lot of goals. The promising thing for me was that the willingness to play the ball in behind for Aubameyang. A couple of chances he had where the finishing wasn't quite right. One in the second half when he hit it low with his left foot, simple save for Tim Krul. There was one in the first half and it was over the top by Odegaard. They played it in quick, took a touch, and you're thinking, smash it low, lift it. He tried to kind of chip the keeper, and then the defender came in and the ball just kind of got blocked. It was unlucky, but for me, the movement was good. What I liked about this, because people said Aubameyang's fallen off, but he made the right runs, got in the right positions, and it was an okay performance. The thing I really liked most was when Partey came on and Smith Rowe came on, and we changed to a 4-3-3 in the midfield. That's when I thought, okay, this is the Arsenal that Arteta's been talking about, because there was a fluidity about our play, how we pressed, how we won the ball back, the chances we created in that moment. Smith Rowe had a 1-on-1 which was well saved, probably should have scored. Pepe had a break chance when then he shot it and the keeper saved it. No, he put it over the bar. Probably could have done better. But all of those came from us shifting to this 4-3-3. So I think that shape is quite interesting. It's really funny because I've always said he's on borrowed time and I've joked about his P45, but I felt like this performance, that 4-3-3 shift, is little hints that maybe he might be able to win over more people. I think for you looking at it, Matthew, what would you say is a positive for Arsenal looking forward?
We got 3 points.
This game.
3 points. I thought you'd win this game anyway, whether it be 2-0 or 3-0 or 7-0. You were going to win this game anyway. Let's be honest. Clean sheet, and I think a lot of people who do back Arteta quite intensely are saying, let's wait for the full squad to come back. He now has it. He now has the players that he wants. You've got good players. The players you have are good, like Lokonga and Tomiyasu. He's probably done really well in Italy. You've got who else did you buy? You've got Ben White was the big one. Ben White.
Gabriel came back from injury.
Gabriel's come back from injury. I think he's your best centre back at the moment as well. This is now his full. This is now his full spot, and playing Ramsdale as well. And apparently Ramsdale did really well as well.
He was very good. What I loved, there's several things I loved about Ramsdale's performance. The first one, communication. Every block, every tackle, every situation when the ball came back, he was talking to them, telling them where to go, what to do. He was commanding his box. The second thing was his confidence on the ball. There was one moment when the ball got played back to him and Pukki was closing him down and he took this touch with outside of his right boot and the whole crowd went but he chopped him and left Pukki for dead.
I saw that one.
But then he sprayed this beautiful pass out to the wing to Pepe. And unfortunately for Pepe, I think Odegaard was in front of him, which kind of distracted him slightly. So when he went to control it, he miscontrolled it, went out for a throw. He did that a few times in the game anyway. But that pass was just, to me, was telling.
He's good with his feet, isn't he? He's quite good with his feet. What you think in the Premier League now, you do kind of need someone who is good with their feet. It's almost like having a sweeper keeper. A kind of keeper you could have on the pitch, come out of goal and just start spraying passes. Now, you know what? You're off the mark, which is, I think, is the main thing. The performances probably will come, but get to that in just a moment. I'm still not convinced for the fact that you've only bought on potential and not on for the now. I still think there is as good as these players can be. It was Norwich. Can they do this consistently? You got Burnley next. I think you will do. Your next one, for me, Tottenham's going to be the one. It's the North London derby. It's the one you're all fired up for. It's going to be in the Emirates, or is it? And it's going to be at the Emirates. That is his crunch game.
Oh yeah.
He's got homework. All right. Let's say he's got homework. Big some massive dissertation, massive report portfolio. That's the one where you're going to see because that's your biggest test with all your players that you said you have. That's going to be the absolute one, because you're as good as your squad is now with those players in. It's still quite threadbare. You worry about the players that could come back but don't need to be there anymore. So, but the players you have, they are good. But it's just it would have been nice just to see someone from the now to climb up that table. But you got the win, a scrappy win, but a win. The performances, they were better. They were better, especially with everyone there. It's just a case of keeping that harmony, keeping that kind of consistency to maybe start winning more people around. I still think he's on massive borrow time, but we'll come the Spurs game. I'm not. But it could go wrong against Burnley. You don't know. But for me, he's got North London derby. That's the one where all the world's going to be watching.
I think for me, the other big thing is we had 30 shots.
Yeah.
That felt like I couldn't believe when I heard it. But being there in the ground, we did pepper their goal.
Not the Arsenal from the first 3 games, then.
No. something changed. I think those 10 days of the pressure, the stress, I think he kind of something clicked in his mind. So yeah, I think it was all in all a result we can build on.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was a few other games this weekend. Who cares about them? All right, yeah. Brentford lost to Brighton. Brighton, and 90-minute winner, brilliant goal from Trossard.
Excellent goal.
Brighton are going to be. I mean, they're 4th right now. So Potter is one of the ones on a list of potential candidates to replace Mikel Arteta.
His football is good.
But then we have to see if he can translate it. So we'll see what they do this season.
Then come to Arsenal. I bring Basuma with him on anything.
That's why you're talking.
I'm talking. Yeah.
Obviously, West Ham lost. I mean, Mikel Antonio's red card is unfortunate. The first one I feel like was just a bit of 6 of one and a half dozen of the other.
Yeah.
The second one was just it's one of those tackles strikers make when it's like why.
And near the end of the game as well. And he was such an important player as well. Luckily, he's not suspended tonight.
And I'm hoping it doesn't affect them too much because he's been instrumental in what they've been doing this season. So hopefully the replacement can come in and step up and perform in a way they need. But
Gunn had a good game. Good saves in that game as well from Alex Gunn. Very good goal saves.
And then, of course, Wolves are off the mark. They beat Watford 2-0. I guess you expected Watford to beat them. So how do you feel about that?
who beat who? Wolves. 1-2-0.
2-0 against Watford.
Well, they've been doing everything right, Wolves. They've been doing everything right. They like had to luck in at some
The reason why I said Watford because Wolves were not scoring. And I was telling you they played 4 games and they never scored. So I was thinking, I think Watford are going to win. And Watford played well in the games that they played. I know they lost 1 or 2 games, but I thought they played quite well.
Watford only had 6 shots. Wolves had 14.
Wow.
This one. They had 5 on target.
You can't get them all right. So
they do everything but score.
Yeah.
Wolves. They that Man United game. I think on all their games have done really well, but score.
Against Tottenham, they could have won that game.
Man United again.
Traore was 1-on-1 with the keeper how many times?
Traore.
Oh my gosh.
So looking ahead to the weekend, obviously tomorrow or Friday night we've got, which will be today as you're hearing this, you've got Newcastle Leeds first up. Are we expecting Newcastle to get 3 points on the board, or do we think Leeds are going to pull off? It's at St James's as well. It's a weird one.
It's very strange because as much as I have confidence in Leeds, it's like you said in the first show, the second season syndrome could pick up. Plus, there's a case of Leeds have probably been figured out. They're that chaotic style. Do they have a plan
B?
No. They got good players, and Bielsa's clearly a very experienced manager. But if you get found out, you get found out.
Draw.
I think draw.
Draw. Okay. Wolves, Brentford. At Wolves.
Ooh, I'm on you.
I'm going to go Brentford win.
I'm going Brentford.
I'm going Wolves.
Okay.
I'm going Wolves. Narrow, but I'm going Wolves.
We'll skip Burnley, Arsenal. Liverpool, Crystal Palace.
Anfield,
Draw.
At Anfield, yeah.
Draw.
Nah, Liverpool win.
Liverpool win. Well, with Salah, what Salah's
They
doing
got a
as well.
title to play for.
You guys don't understand something. Crystal Palace has got a good record against Liverpool, especially at Anfield. They had some good results there.
Yeah.
And Vieira against.
Yeah, maybe.
I think the Vieira factor.
I'm still backing Liverpool.
I don't think it's gonna be
you
it's
made
not
a
gonna be
good
an
point.
easy win.
You make a good point.
Yeah.
But I'm backing Liverpool.
It's not gonna be an easy win, but
It's not gonna be. It's gonna be if Liverpool do win, it's gonna be like a 2-1 or something, or 3-2 or something.
imagine if it was a 3-3.
It happened before.
City, Southampton at Etihad.
Banker, home banker.
City.
Cool.
Sorry, Southampton.
Norwich, Watford at Norwich.
Watford. I'm backing Watford again.
Watford.
I'm going Norwich. You know, they're at home. Their crowd make a good atmosphere. You never
do,
know.
cool.
Saturday 3:00 kickoff. You never know.
I think Watford got.
Could
Yeah.
be, yeah.
Villa, Everton at Villa.
Oh, that's a hard one, you know.
That's tough.
I'm going for a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw. I'm gonna go Everton just because I think there's something in the way they performed in Monday that they'll bring into this game. And Villa losing the way they lost, they'll be out. They'll be playing harder to try and correct course.
Yeah.
And that's how I think Everton could pick them off.
Okay.
So
Has
gonna go
Martinez come back?
He'll be back for this weekend. Yeah,
He'll be back for the game.
I'm going to draw.
Draw.
I'm going for same draw.
Brighton, Leicester,
Leicester.
and it's at Brighton.
I'm going Brighton.
I'm going Leicester as well, just because I think they got the firepower. West Ham, Manchester United at the London Stadium.
Wait, I feel that's gonna be.
Ooh.
I don't know. I think 3-2, but I don't know which way to the 3-2 is gonna be. It's gonna be one of them games where the goals are gonna be scored in that game.
I'm gonna go Man United win because there's no Antonio.
True.
So
He gets suspended. So
I think I'm going United as
If this
well.
was Bowling Ground, if this was Upton Park, I'll go West Ham.
Go West Ham.
I'll purely go for West Ham.
I'm going for United. Ronaldo's gonna bag again.
I think
Ronaldo. If he's fit and he plays, Ronaldo will score again.
got a tougher defence though. West Ham aren't bad at defence.
Yeah, but
I think
Ronaldo
still-
knows how to score, man. He's just got.
I can see a 2-0 back. Then again, I can see a 2-0 Man United. I really can.
Okay, and the last game of the fixture of the weekend, Villa, Everton at.
They said that already.
Yeah,
Already, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whoa, sorry.
The last one's
Of
Arsenal.
course. No. It's Tottenham, Chelsea.
I'm going Chelsea win.
Come on, Chelsea.
We're all going Chelsea win.
We're going
Yeah,
for a
we all-
nice
we all-
for the culture.
2-0 win. Lukaku, 1 or 2.
I'm going for 6, man. I want to see a 6-0, bro. Proper. Just if you're gonna do it nice.
Do it properly.
good. 6-0 battering. And then of course for Arsenal, Burnley. Look, to me, like at the end of the day, Mikel Arteta, he's got 3 more games in this 4-game run. He needs at least
9 points.
I'd even say 10.
10.
Because I'd take a draw against Spurs. Not that we should draw against Spurs, but I'd take a draw against Spurs.
If you
That's
beat
providing
Burnley,
Spurs are in the form that Spurs would normally be in, not the Crystal Palace form, like their normal form.
Yeah.
I'd say a draw. But this game, I think, is one he should win.
Yeah, I think Arsenal win.
I think we have to win it
There's no two ways about it, we have to win.
because, like, at the end of the day, where do you want to end up this season? What's your ambition? So
And
it has to be a win.
Edu didn't exactly give much clues on that.
Which I think was the right thing to do, because if he was to say Arsenal's ambition, Arsenal's target this season is X, then that's the flag you'll hang them on. So by just saying we have I would say realistically Arsenal's aim for this season is back in Europe, back in Europa League, which is a top 6 finish, which would be a reasonable way to end the season.
That's good, yeah.
We probably need to buy someone in January to ensure that happens, and maybe even push a bit higher than just top 6.
So
But
striker.
another goal scoring player, whether that be from a wide area or up front. I think it'd have to be wide because up front we got too many players up there.
Yeah, but then in
I
January, like you got Nketiah will have 6 months left on his contract,
and
Lacazette will have 6 months on the contract. So you might have to sell.
If we shift them out, then maybe a striker. But if not, I want to see a goal scoring wide player.
Pepe's going to AFCON as well
because I don't know if Saka's going to get the numbers to make a difference.
I think Maximum would be a good player for us, you know.
Oh, he's got
Maximan? Yeah.
He's got 4 years left.
You'll be paying
a lot for him.
I think there's a player that played in the Euros for Belgium. I think he'll be sick for us.
Oh, but young kids.
Named Jeremy Doku.
Yeah.
He's rapid. Quick. He reminds me of Mark Overmars. He would be a good winger to have for us on our team.
Yeah, give it a next negotiation. It'll be. I think this defense will be tougher than Norwich's. I think they'll probably get their act together after who are they playing on the weekend? Who are they playing again? Everton. They'll get their act together after Everton, but I think you will win purely because I think Arteta's got no more excuses now. He's got his team, he's got his formation, he can switch around with it. He's got no more excuses. Win every game from now on, or just don't lose.
Well, he's definitely gonna have to do something special. Yeah. I think that'll do for this week. Obviously, European games, some interesting results. I think Manchester United not winning does add the pressure back onto Ole again. Like we said, I think for them for this season, he has to win one of the big trophies. Either it's the Premier League or Champions League, and then
down to earth again.
One of them has to come home. If not, then the FA Cup and finishing second, with it being less than 4-point gap between them and second, them in the first and the champions, with a Champions League semi-final/final position. That might be enough to keep fans happy, but other than that, he's got a lot of work to do.
No, but I don't think the fans, it's the board, because like he needs to, because how many years he's been in now? 4 years now, isn't it?
He came in at 2019, so he's been there long enough.
He's been there long enough.
He's been there long enough.
He's been to 3 semi-finals, 1 final, and he hasn't delivered. So he gets to a stage now, like, you got Ronaldo now. Ronaldo's not coming to United to be second best. He's coming to win big trophies. You didn't pay all that money and put on big wages for him to say, oh, don't worry, Ronaldo, next season we'll win it. He's 36. He wants to win trophies. Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup. He wants to win it all. But you can't win it all because you got other teams who are competing as well. So
other teams around them.
Yeah, and other teams are in a better position than United.
Yeah.
So I think what Ole needs to do, Ole needs to sort out his tactics. Because in the big games, it's like he freezes. Like the other day, Van Bissaka got sent off. Instead of him trying something different, he took off Ronaldo, took off Fernandes, and they lost the game.
Just park the bus. Park it. Take the scrappy win home. Take it.
I know the old Man United under Sir Alex Ferguson, if they were down to 10 men, they would not have lost that game. I'm telling you that for sure.
That's true.
They would not have lost that game.
Down.
They would have locked down that midfield would have been locked down. Nowhere would have got past De Gea in
they're
goal.
scoring again. They're probably scoring again. They're scoring again.
I think it's just game management with Oli as well. Like he needs to know to tell his players, like when they're coming on to bench, just use your experience as game management. Like when Lingard passed the ball back for the guys to score the winner. That's one thing. I play football. I don't like playing the ball backwards. I hate it. Forward, it has to go forward. All he had to do was just, he didn't have to play it backward. He could have booted it out to the other end of the pitch, just to waste time, or take it into the corner.
He didn't look. That's the issue. I mean, he probably could even play it to one of the centre backs as well. He didn't look. It's not the worst pass in the world. What he wanted to do, to go back to reset. But it's a thing that players do a lot nowadays, which is the safe option. I'll go home. Goalkeeper.
You don't know who's lurking.
And sometimes he had time as well to take a couple more touches and try.
That's why he could have booted up the field, or he could have ran or dribbled it, or he could have just booted up to the field.
Yeah, Tyrone Mings made the same mistake.
Yeah, he did it last week against Chelsea. He played it backwards and then things scored. So yeah.
No, I think they'll get out of the group, but they'll look back on this result and be like, can't do that again. You cannot do that, because they've got harder teams in that group. They've got Villarreal and they've got Atalanta, who are quite unpredictable. They've got, especially those away games, they've got tougher games coming up.
No, but Atalanta's a good team though.
They are. Yeah,
they qualified for Champions League for the last 4 seasons now.
Yeah,
so they're a good team.
They're unpredictable. They really are.
We'll see what happens with them, and I guess we'll touch on the next European midweek game week and see how they perform, and take it from there.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah,
I think that will do for this week. Hopefully our teams can get the results we need. for the weekend. And we'll be back with another one soon. Take care, everyone.
Peace.
See you later.